Hi, I'm Steve Medewis. I'm the architect and contractor for this home on the ocean front in Harvey Cedars. We designed and built the home in 2001 and 2002 as a three-dimensional collage of color and form, all rectangles. We made a rule on this house that we wouldn't use any angles or curves or circles. So it's a pure rectilinear geometry. Each of the components is a different material with a different color. And we got the idea really from studying the work of architects in Europe in the early 20th century in a movement called the Distill movement, but also influenced by the great Russian abstract painter Malevich. The owners were very gracious to go along with it and give us an opportunity to really do something unique. And actually it was the first of our houses that received an American Institute of Architects award. So 20 years later, it's still looking really good, and they've kept great care of it. We're inside the house now, and first I want to give a shout out to Bill Budd, who was the lead carpenter on this project. He put his heart and soul into his work here, and is one of the absolute best craftsmen I've ever worked with, and he deserves a lot of credit for this home. We're standing in the living room, dining room, kitchen area here, and like the outside, the inside is a collage also of rectilinear forms, different colors and different materials. The fireplace is actually the second one that we did a few years ago. The technology changed and we wanted larger TV and different equipment. So we redid the entire area with a custom mahogany screen that was built by our cabinet maker. And also that African granite, which is just stunning. It's a real piece of artwork. And we put in a new fireplace, which is a gas fireplace. And it's really become the highlight of this living room, dining, kitchen area, but also it's much better than the original one. Behind me is the dining table, and above the dining table is a two-story high interior space, which actually makes this house. It connects the second floor to the first floor, and you get a sensation of real space and light in here as the glass goes up 2 stories. But it's shaded with overhangs that go over all the big glass, so that, and it's all calculated on sun angles, etc., so that in the middle of summer you don't get much sunshine in the house. The kitchen is actually a very small kitchen. It was designed for probably the best cook that I've ever worked for. She was just an amazing cook, and I've had dinner here in this house with her and her family numerous times. It was, again, taking the collage thing. We used 3 different types of cabinet doors, a wooden door, a white door, and then a silver door that was painted with like the Mercedes silver with a Carrara marble top. A lot of the kitchens end up being very large. This one is actually probably one of the smallest we've ever done. It's got a small countertop with counter stools, and they're really nice. They're white leather, and I've tried to find them for other projects, but they're out of production now. The lighting is all surface mounted. We don't have any recessed lighting in the whole house. The reason is that it kind of looks like pockmarks in a ceiling, and the surface mounted can be decorative and a lot more interesting. It also gives you a whole different kind of light. And then over the dining room table is a classic floss 8-piece fixture that actually I'm using in another home right now because it's hard to find something that does the same thing as that does. There is ambient light in the house, but all the ambient light is sitting on top of the cabinets where you can't see it, and it bounces off the ceiling. So it's typically like a track lighting upside down. The floors in the house are a combination of limestone, polished, and mahogany, which also is the trim and all the assembled types of things like the handrails and the door jambs and those type of things are all done with the same mahogany. The walls are drywall, but they're also cement board that we like to use inside. Then there's natural wood cabinetry that's a white oak, but it's been stained with a black stain so that you can still see the grain, but read it as a real piece of wood. And then there's no handles on any of the built-in cabinetry. It's all touch latched, which makes it even more kind of sculptured and pristine. The house, and when we looked at the outside, and I was speaking about how it was broken up into basically rectilinear cubes, the inside of the house is organized along within those boxes. So the northern box has all of the guest bedrooms in it. So there's 2 on the lower level, 1 on the ocean front, 1 on the bay side, and 2 identical ones upstairs over the 2 below with bathrooms in between. The other cube, the other big cube, which is separated from the guest wing by the staircase, is where the master bedroom is on the 2nd floor, living room, dining room, kitchen on the lower floor. So that there's real privacy. When I can do a project where I have room to spread things out, I like to keep guests and children on one end, parents and older guests at the other end, the object is to kind of give everybody as much freedom and quiet as they need. The bathrooms, put a lot of time into those bathrooms. The tile in 3 of them is from a metallic series of tiles that we found. One is copper, one is like a patinaed stainless steel. The other one is kind of tinted copper, and we haven't been able to find those ever again. It makes this house really unique. And then, of course, there's all kinds of nice trim and European faucetry. Well, the deck, it's interesting because the deck is connected to the beach by a bridge that goes over a bocce court below down at grade, which you can't see when you're in the house. And then it goes up and over the dune and to the beach. Off of the deck is a hot tub area. It's the big red cube on the outside of the building. You see a little bit from the inside. And then there's a small 2nd floor deck, which is really just private for the owners. It's off the master bedroom. It's covered and it has a lot of privacy, and it's small and intimate. And then, of course, there's also a roof deck up at the top, which is recessed. And it was one we put a solid wall around and recessed it in so that people could sunbathe up there. You can use your imagination how they sunbathed. As I said earlier, this house was designed in 2001. There was one house that we did in Brant Beach right before this where we started to explore the ideas, architectural ideas that really came to fruition in this particular project. And we set up a set of rules in our studio, and we did it so that we could all understand it, and so that there was a language that we could take and extrapolate out into all not only the big shapes, the big forms, the big spaces, but all the way down into the little details. And it's a little bit hard to explain that, but believe it or not, I went back to my block building when I was a child and just really meditated on that and realized why I built the way I did back then, because it was very defined. And this is just an extension of it, really. We've been using the same ideas and adding a few architectural words to the language over the last 20 years, and doing a home right now that has a lot of the same ideas in here, but I think in a more subtle and not so bold approach. And so the practice continues. We've been doing this since 1984. It's been great. I've worked on Long Beach Island my whole life, and I've had the privilege of working here my whole career.